Hey everyone, John here, and today it's not just news, it's also a tour. So put on your tourist wristbands and come join me a sec, okay? So this is accounts.nintendo.com/portal, and this is actually really useful. You can see everyone that's in your family group right from here, so if I wanted to I could say, hey Jamie, I'm gonna manage you, you are gonna be my parent now. You can check out your user, although this doesn't really have much of a purpose, it just says you can change your nickname and icon from the console. I'm not really sure why this is here, but I find this one really cool. This shows you all the consoles your account is sitting on, and what is really neat about this is right now you can see that Switch has a green and white Joy-Con. But come with me a second, okay? Come here. Alright, so there it is. There's the Switch in question. Let's remove that Joy-Con elegantly and put on this Joy-Con. And now you can see it's green and red. And watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Refresh! It knows! They're always watching. Always. This one won't change colour. Alright, we're back in frame. There's also system transfers here, and this shows you everything that's currently stored in the cloud if you are transferring to a Switch 2. So if you have your stuff held in Nintendo servers, it will show you all your save data, all your games, but I've not currently done the transfer, because there's still like a month until launch. But let's go back, because there's still cool stuff to show you guys. And I think one of the coolest things, I guess we'll do this last actually. First, you can see your Switch membership when it's going to expire. That's just kind of handy. Passes, I didn't know what this was until asking someone, and this is about online memberships that aren't NSO. So Just Dance or Pokemon Home. I don't have any of them currently, but you can deregister your console as the Pass console, which has all the Just Dancing and all the Pokemon going. You can see your Platinum and Gold points and when they're going to expire, but the main reason you'd use accounts.nintendo.com/portal is virtual game cards. You can manage all your game cards from this website. So for example, Tempopo is currently loaded on my Switch, but I could load it to Roxy's console from here. Or I could eject it from my console so it's no longer there. I can hide it from the lineup. I can just view general details about the game. But I think the coolest part about seeing your game cards here is let's find a game that isn't installed on my console right now. So I'm not going to share it with anyone, I'm just going to manage the install of the game. So I don't think Crysis is currently downloaded on my Switch. So I could press download data to John's Switch. And right now, if we go to my Switch, let's just open up my game capture a second. Crysis appears! So as you can see, you can just download stuff remotely from anywhere, from this website. So you could be at work and you're planning to play a game later that you've left on your Switch at home, but you don't want to wait for it to download. You can just download it from there, and there it is. Just neat and easy from this website. So that's awesome. There's lots of cool things on accounts.nintendo.com/portal. So yeah, that's neat. Although just as I was about to move on, Steve sent me this screenshot right here. So he just redeemed Fitness Boxing 3, and it now asks you which Switch you want to download it to. So once you redeem the code from the website, it says, which Switch with your account on do you want the game to be downloaded on. So that's cool. They've definitely made this a bit neater for multiple Switch owners. Cool. Anyway, actual news time. Let's go. Breaking news! Nintendo, the business company Nintendo, is suing someone. And this time they kind of deserve it. This is Genki. Not that one, the accessory manufacturer. So Genki, if you remember, earlier in the year, before the Switch was revealed, they showed off at a trade show the Switch 2, at least the 3D print of the Switch 2, showing the dimensions of the unit, the screen, the Joy-Con, basically everything. And it was rumored that they got this from the black market, which is even worse. But let me just read what they have here, and this is from Oatmeal Dome. Thank you so much, we love Oatmeal Dome. At the Consumer Electronics Show event, Genki demoed and promoted unauthorized, purported mock-ups and renders of Nintendo Switch 2 and its accessories. Further, Genki presented at least 2 unauthorized 3D printed mock-ups of the Nintendo Switch 2 to reporters. Genki boasted its alleged early access to the unreleased console and allowed guests to hold and measure the mock-ups. At Genki CES booth, Genki CEO Edward Tsai, I'm bad with names, personally showed off 3D printed mock-ups and stated to different reporters that Genki had or had access to an authentic Switch 2, on which Genki based the mock-ups, renderings, and 3D printed mock-ups. Genki's representatives, including its CEO, also did multiple media interviews discussing their 8 accessories, and purportedly confirmed specific, highly confidential designs and functionality of the not-yet-announced Nintendo Switch 2. An article detailing these statements from Genki is attached in Exhibit B. Genki also displayed a video at CES booth showing a 3D printed render of the Switch 2, which it later also posted on its website. Genki included Nintendo's marks on its renderings of the Nintendo Switch 2 dock, including Nintendo's registered design marks shown in registration number, whatever number that is. And I think this is one of those lawsuits where you go, yeah, I kind of get that. This was all, unauthorized, stolen stuff. I'm sure some of you will have arguments against this, but it's pretty clear to me. Anyway, let's keep going. The last thing I want to talk about is box spines. I think boxes are so important. You hold them the whole era. They are era-defining. And looking back at the Nintendo Switch, there were regional variants. So, let's see. This right here is a PAL box. As you can see, Doom on the spine is fully centered. In America, they don't center it. They sort of align it to the top. And the same is true for Japan. They both align them to the top. So there are regional variants, and across Europe you also have the Nintendo triangles. So this one is blue, this one is green. We've got a whole video about those triangles. And we know already, in Japan, that the Switch 2 box arts have art that goes all the way down the spine, much like PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and a bunch of other systems. But we just had a retailer listing for Split Fiction, which shows the entire box. Now, this could potentially just be specific to Split Fiction, so I wouldn't jump the gun and say that this is what the entire uniform of the Switch 2 box art are going to look like. However, Split Fiction on PlayStation 5 does have the wraparound spine, much like the Japanese Switch 2 boxes. So it would be weird to get rid of that and replace it with a completely white spine. What's also weird is this is a European box, and there's no triangle. Where's our triangle in the corner? It's just white. Why are you white? Why are you white, Split Fiction? It also does something that a few American Switch games do, where the actual font of the game is there. So the vast majority of Switch boxes have, just a uniform font. But a couple of American boxes do have the game font on there, which Split Fiction is doing here. So it's possible that in Europe, at the very least, no confirmation for America, and no confirmation that this is across the board, but it's possible that Switch 2 boxes have a uniform white, and then just have their, their game font logo for whatever it is. Which is odd, but it would stand out amongst Switch 1 games for sure. But so would the wraparound art. But yeah, this is a big deal to me. You can also kind of see our first little look at how the hinge works, and shock, it's very similar to how the hinge works on this. Like that. I hope inside box art remains a thing. I love inside box art. Inside box art is like one of my favorite things of Switch boxes. So if they get rid of my inside boxes, I'm rioting in the streets. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. There were highs, there were lows, there were laughs, there were cries. And I will catch you next time. Bye, everyone.